Can one owner mortgage jointly owned property? Have you ever wondered if one person can take out a mortgage on a property that is owned by multiple people? This is an important question, especially when it comes to estate planning and property ownership. Let's break it down. First, it is essential to understand the difference between ownership and mortgage responsibility. Ownership is determined by whose name is on the title or deed. If two or more individuals own a property together, it is typically classified as joint tenants with rights of survivorship or tenants in common. However, mortgage responsibility is tied to who signs the mortgage loan documents. So, can one owner alone mortgage a property that is jointly owned? Generally, the answer is no. One owner cannot unilaterally mortgage a property without the consent of the other owners. This is because the mortgage lender needs to secure a legal interest in the property. If only one owner signs the mortgage, the lender may not have a valid claim on the entire property, which can lead to complications. However, there is a scenario where one owner can be on the mortgage while others hold title. For example, if spouses or co-owners have both names on the deed but only one name on the mortgage, the person on the mortgage is responsible for repayment. Still, all owners retain rights to the property. The lender's lien typically applies to the entire property, regardless of how many owners sign the loan documents. From an estate planning perspective, jointly owned property often avoids probate if held as joint tenants with rights of survivorship. However, if one owner mortgages the property without the other's knowledge, it can create legal disputes among co-owners or heirs. When considering a mortgage on jointly owned property, it is wise to have all owners consent to the mortgage. This helps avoid disputes and ensures the lender's claim is valid. If one owner wishes to mortgage or refinance, they usually need the cooperation of the other owners. If cooperation is not possible, legal action may be necessary. It is also important to consider how mortgages affect estate tax planning. Mortgages can reduce the net value of the property for estate tax purposes. The nature of joint ownership and survivorship rights can impact how the property is valued and transferred after death. In summary, while one owner can be on the mortgage loan for a jointly owned property, mortgaging the property itself usually requires the consent of all owners. This protects everyone's interests and aligns with principles of ownership and estate planning. Clear agreements and proper documentation are essential to avoid conflicts and ensure smooth management of jointly owned real estate.